I'm Ben Meyer.
And I'm Rob Wright.
And this week we wanted to revisit an article Rob did a couple years back now on the best games never published. And we were going back looking at some of those lists, and it had everything from like Star Fox 2 on the old Super Nintendo to Battletech 3025, Ultima Online 2, which was one we lamented, and most recently Marvel Online Universe.
Yes.
But we noticed that a number of these titles are actually back from the dead in one way or another. And so we wanted to start with some of those. So what's one of these titles that is seemingly has some life now?
Well, it seems like there's some developers that are trying to make me look bad by digging some titles out of the grave. And one I'm actually I'm very happy about is Fallout 3. That's probably the most obvious, most prominent example among the games that have been canceled that I covered earlier. And for those that don't know, I don't know how you wouldn't know. We've talked about it enough. But Fallout 3 was in development under Interplay, and they couldn't get it done. They sold the rights a few years ago to Bethesda Softworks, and the title is scheduled for fall 2008 release, which makes me very happy because I'm dying to see another Fallout game, even if it isn't going to look like the original Fallout RPG game. So, but that probably is the biggest example out there right now.
Another big name title that has some life, although we're not sure how much, is Duke Nukem Forever. This game has been in development forever now, a perennial top vaporware title. But they did come out with a teaser trailer in December of 2007. And, hinted at a 2008 release. 3D Realms is still kicking, and supposedly they said, Duke Nukem will be ready when it's ready. We haven't heard anything since, maybe ready is in 2008, but I think it at least has a pulse.
Yeah, you can detect a faint pulse, but not much more really, so.
But here's hoping. It'd be great to have another Duke Nukem title.
I suppose. Yeah. One title I'm very much looking forward to is Aliens, Colonial Marines, and that has an interesting story. The Aliens franchise has had some ups and downs, and this game was actually originally in development back in 2001 under EA and Fox, and for some reason, the game got kind of late in development. It was a squad-based first-person shooters that was going to take place like immediately after the events of Aliens, and it just got canceled. And no one really knows exactly why it happened, but it was a console title and it was dropped. Lo and behold, back in 2006, Sega comes in and swoops up the Aliens franchise rights and resurrects this game. And they tapped Gearbox Software to do the development. Gearbox best known for probably Brothers in Arms, World War II shooters. And it looks interesting. I mean, it's going to be another sort of first-person shooter, squad-based combat, and going to sort of take place around the same time, right after the events of the movie Aliens. So I'm pumped up. I mean, I love Aliens. I think that we should have an Alien or Aliens title every year. I really do.
I think EA should have held on to it because they like to do that.
Yeah, well, there you go. So.
Another title, which I don't know if it's actually been resurrected, but there's been so many rumors about it that we're kind of putting it on the fence there, and that's StarCraft Ghost. A lot of insiders are thinking that maybe this is the mysterious Project Hydra that Blizzard has been working on, this new MMO. Nobody's sure whether Hydra is actually new IP or existing IP, but if so, I mean, a lot of people have been asking for a StarCraft MMO, and that would surely make a lot of sense, but there's no official word, so I guess it's a little bit up from the dead. I don't know.
It's sort of it's kind of in limbo because Blizzard has said and reiterated over the years that they would like to revisit this game that they don't consider to be completely dead, which is great because I know a lot of people were excited about it, even though I think it originally was scheduled to be just a third-person shooter for the consoles, which was kind of weird, but an MMO based on this would be great. And it's weird the way that people are kind of like looking into like all these little subtle hints that may be out there. That
reading the tea leaves.
I know, it's like an episode of Lost or something, the way people are tracking this. But you know what? Honestly, if E3 rolls around this summer, and Blizzard and Activision make a big announcement about how, hey, this is in development, I would not be surprised with the number of people that are talking about it. So, cross your fingers. So.
The joy, StarCraft 2 and StarCraft 2. A virtual feast of StarCraft. A bonanza, as it were.
Yes.
So, moving into games, I guess, that have not been resurrected from the dead, that from your list, what are some of the ones that should get resurrected?
That should. Well, I'll start with an obvious one for me. I'm a Star Trek fan. I mean, I got Kirk over my shoulder here, big Trekkie, and there was a title way back when that was in development, and it looked like it had the makings of a truly great Star Trek game, maybe one of the best ever. And it was canceled late in development, and fans out there know which one I'm talking about. It's Secret of Vulcan Fury, which had a really great premise, great story. It was actually going to delve into sort of the history of the Vulcan people, and the story was written by an original series TV writer from Star Trek,
cool.
Who the fans are very fond of. And it looked like it had just a lot going for it. And unfortunately, it was canceled late in development. And I'm just hoping one day that somebody swoops in and just looks at the material that was kind of left over from this game and, just takes the story at the very least. Right. So the basic structure and outline of the game, as it were, and picks it up again. Yeah. Because that would be, it'd be better than most Star Trek games, right?
They haven't had the best track record.
Yikes.
So what's another one?
Sci-fi MMO. I'm constantly talking about sci-fi MMOs, and we need more. There was one about 3 years ago, back at E3 2005, Imperator Online from Mythic Entertainment. And this one looked like it really intrigued me because it was sort of an alternate timeline, a what-if scenario. What if the Roman Empire never fell? And the Roman Empire existed today. Not just today, but into the future, and was, ruling the known galaxy, and what would that be like? And it was a very interesting look at the future, and, I just don't think that there are enough sci-fi MMOs. So I was really intrigued by that game, and unfortunately Mythic had to pull the plug and indefinitely postpone it. Who knows? They're part of EA now. Mythic is still around. Could it be picked up down the road? Maybe.
Possibly. EA has that great track record with MMOs, and I think, one of the reasons sci-fi MMOs a lot of them is they're hard to get off the ground,
Yeah. I don't know what it is. It just kills me, but I'm sick of fantasy MMOs. Not to beat a dead horse, but last title that I want to throw out there is I really think we need another Dune title. A Dune RTS. Dune 2, sort of the great sort of almost originator of the real-time strategy genre from Westwood Studios. Westwood Studios sadly no longer, thanks EA. But, there were a couple of Dune titles earlier this decade that were made that were really bombed. Dune Generations was the last one, and it was canceled sort of mid-development. The developer went bankrupt, and it was really sad. It would be great to see somebody come on in and just pick up Dune Generations or Dune 3, as it were, and just do it right. Do it. There's so many good RTS developers out there right now that are really making some great titles, and I hope that one day somebody comes in and picks that up, because I love Dune and Dune 2.
It's a classic. It's got such a great story and characters. And with the RTS engines they have now.
Yeah, just more sci-fi, whatever.
More sci-fi. But I think we see a theme here with Rob.
Yes.
That's all the time we have for this week. I'm Ben Meyer.
And I'm Rob Wright.
And we'll see you again next time. Go Sox.
Okay.
Go Sox.
Yep.
I don't really care for them.
Yeah, go yourself.
Go yourself.